What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name's Nicole and I'm an addict, and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. And today I wanted to come on and do a story time video for y'all because I haven't done a story time video in like a week and a half or so. So before I get started on the story time, if you would just do me a solid, give this video a thumbs up. Engage with me, comment down below, let me know if you've had similar experiences in your life when you were in active addiction. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share these videos with your friends. If you have somebody who is struggling with the disease of addiction, let them know they're not alone and invite them over to the channel. And last but not least, when you click the notification bell, make sure that you click it, drag down and click all. That way you're notified every time I go live, because I do go live a lot, you guys. I do live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So without a shadow of a doubt, you can catch me here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7. So yeah, that way you have support in your recovery. We do meetings, we do Mara meetings on Fridays, and on Mondays we do step studies. On Wednesdays we have special guests come on and share their experience, strength, and hope. So I'm really working hard to stay consistent with the channel and make sure that I bring you guys other recovering addicts who are, you know, doing the next right thing and staying sober, so that way that will inspire you guys to stay on your journey. That is the whole purpose of this channel. It's to inspire you guys to make changes in your life, get sober and stay sober, and, you know, maybe in the future start sharing your story to help others. So down the line, that's what I hope for everybody, is that you get sober and then you pass it on, you know, and you give back what was so freely given to you. So okay, so let me get myself a little seat. I set up my tripod. This is all new to me. I'm not sure if this is, oh, I guess I can stand up. That's probably better. I set up my tripod and I'm not really good at working it, so I have it up right now, and I just want to, my sister's going to have to show me how to adjust it and all that stuff. But y'all bear with me because this is all new to me, but I'm super excited. So I think the last time I did a video about a story time was the Tales of a Chronic Relapser story time. And the last time we talked about it, I was working at Kroger. I had 9 months sober and I relapsed with my friend Ashley and went back out. And I remember that relapse very vividly. I remember exactly why I relapsed. I relapsed because I let my job take #1 priority, and I let my recovery fall to the wayside. And that is something that, I do a lot. And that's why I'm learning from that, and I don't want to repeat that same mistake again. A lot of times when I get a job, I find so much of my identity and validation in my work, because I am a hard worker. I really enjoy, you know, the jobs that I do have, and so when I do them, I want to do them to the best of my ability. But I have learned over the years that it doesn't matter how much I work, it's not going to take away my addiction. And so instead of using my job as a way to cope with my addiction, I had to start coping with my addiction. I had to start learning how to cope with life on life's terms. And that was a huge transition for me, because I had gotten so accustomed to getting high and dealing with life through getting high. So that was the last relapse that I had until I got sober this time. And I want to share with you guys today I want to share with y'all the turning point in my life. The catalyst that really threw me into getting sober. My motivation for getting sober. All right, so I'm going to take you all the way back. All right, I'm going to take you back to about 2012 when I met my husband. All right, so I relapsed in 2010. And so I was out there on them streets for a good 2 years, hustling, sleeping on couches, staying the night at people's houses that I barely even knew, lying, cheating, stealing, working at my job and going in high. For some reason, the job that I had, they loved me and they wanted me to succeed. So they sent me to treatment one time. Then I relapsed. Then I came back. They told me I had to go to treatment again. I went to an outpatient treatment the next time, and they still held on to me. Well, they finally let me go. 6 months after I met my husband, we were staying the night on the couch that I lived at. I lived on this girl's couch named Kaylee. And me and Neil had stayed up all night long getting high. And that morning when we woke up, I was really high on methamphetamines. And so I took 7 bars. 7 bars of Xanax, and I decided to go on and go to work. So I went to work that morning, and I thought I was doing a great job, you guys. I thought I was kicking. I thought I was working. I was actually working in dairy that day, and I was pulling milk out of the freezer, putting it on a trailer, like putting it on a cart, and then pushing it out to the floor and stocking it on the shelves. Well, I guess your girl was stocking stuff, and I guess it was flying everywhere and falling everywhere. I was slurring my words. My manager came over there to check on me, and he was like, "Hey, Nicole, are you all right?" And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing great. And I really thought I was fine. I really thought that I was performing well. I didn't realize that I was not performing well. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, girl, you were on 7 bars. There's no way that you could even perform. I can't believe I was awake. I can't believe I was conscious, like, oh God. So they ended up calling me up to the office, and they were like, listen, we need to have a talk with you. Come upstairs. So I went upstairs, and that's when my boss told me that I needed to submit to a drug screen. Oh, you guys. And I was like, okay, all right. So they didn't have drug screens at the store, so they had to drive me to this place where, if you get hurt on the job, they have you take a drug screen. Well, we were going to that place. So they drove me all the way out there, which was in Southwest Little Rock, and we were on the west side of Little Rock, so it was all the way on the other side of Little Rock. And we drove down there, and then I refused to take the test. I was like, nope, I'm not doing it, because by the time we had gotten down there, the Xanaxes had kicked in to the point where they were making me an asshole. You know how when you first start out on a benzo high, you're like chilling and you're laid back, and then it like gradually like goes up to like, okay, now you're shoplifting. And then it goes up to like when you start getting mean. Well, that's what was happening. I was in asshole mode at that time. And so I was like, I'm not taking the test. I refuse. Y'all ain't getting me. Y'all ain't taking me down. And so I got back in the car, and they drove me back to the store. And that's when they told me that they had to let me go, that they were terminating me. And for some reason, I don't know what it was, I thought I could talk my way back into that job, you guys. I thought I could go back up there a couple days later and tell them how sorry I was and ask for my job back, and that they would give it back to me. Well, that was not the case. So I called Neil, and we had just been dating for like 6 months, and he came and picked me up, and I told him, I was like, I lost my job. I just got fired. And that job meant so much to me because, like I said, I felt like because I had a job that maybe my addiction wasn't so bad. I still worked. I still made money. It couldn't be that bad, right? And that's what I would say over in my mind. Well, I still have a job. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not that bad of an addiction. And here I am, no place to live, sleeping on my friend's couch, and I just got fired from my job. And about 4 months before that, I had just sold my car for $3,000, and because it got impounded and I didn't have the money to get it out, so I sold it to somebody. So my life was falling apart, but I kept making excuses. And once I lost that job, it was like, damn, there's no more excuses to be made. Well, luckily for addict me, I had, found Neil, and he had a job, and I could suck him dry for what he had. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys. I love my husband. He's my best friend. But at that time, when we were in active addiction, we had only been together for about 6 months. We barely knew each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at that time, we were both in this, like, very unhealthy relationship. And it centered around us getting high. And so I saw an opportunity to be taken care of and to have somebody that would look out for me. And so that's how it all started out. And thank God it ended up, I loved my husband from the day I set eyes on him. But because I was in active addiction, I was still thinking in that addictive way. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I knew I was going to be okay because I had my husband to enable me. I had this man who loved me to take care of me. And so it still didn't affect me as bad as it should, losing my job. I still had, my husband to go move in with and go sleep on his parents' couch. And then we got our own apartment together, and then I found another job. But after I lost that job, I never got employed again like I was at that job. I was jumping from restaurant job to restaurant job, waiting tables, bartending, just jobs that would last me maybe 90 days, and then I would get fired for being too high at my job. Now, in 2013, me and my husband got pregnant, and I found out I was pregnant, and then I had my son in July of 2014. And when I had my son, I was like, you know what? I'm staying sober. This is it. My life is going to change. Like, this is it. I cannot do this anymore. And I meant that at the time. And then 3 months went by. I breastfed my son, and I was white knuckling it, trying to stay sober, really white knuckling it, you guys. And 3 months went by, and I relapsed. And when I relapsed, my husband relapsed, and we went back out again. And it wasn't until my son was turning 1 year old that my best friend called DHS on us. DHS is Child Protective Services. They came to the door, that door right over there, and they came to the door 3 times in a row, and I didn't answer it. And so they left something on the door, a little sticky note with their number and everything. And so I called them, and they told me I had to come down there. And I went down there, and I took a drug test, and I failed. I had benzos and opiates and marijuana in my system. And so they took my son. They came back, they drug tested my husband. He failed also, and they took our son. They took him, and they put him in foster care. And that was what really, really woke me up. But even having my son taken away, the disease of addiction still had such a stronghold on me, because I was in treatment having my husband sneak Xanaxes into me. It wasn't until I was faced with your rights are going to be terminated that it was like that consequence was so great that I could not let that happen. I don't know what it was, but something in me said, this can't happen, Nicole. You've got to change. And that's when I really, really found help. I went and got on Suboxone. I got into therapy. I started going to meetings. I got a sponsor. I started working the 12 steps. And I really, really started looking inside of myself and trying to work on me. And I've been sober ever since, and that's been 4.5 years. But I'm telling you guys all this to tell you that I've been there. I've relapsed. I've been homeless. I've slept on people's couches. I've stole. I've been to prison. I've been dishonest. I've manipulated. I've been manipulated. I've tried to do it to where I put my recovery second and I put my job first. I've tried to put it to where I put my relationship first and my recovery second. And every time I place something in front of my recovery, I lose that thing and I lose my sobriety. So I'm sharing all this with you guys to tell you that my main focus now in my life is my recovery. And that's how it has to be. For me, I have to totally give my all to my recovery, because if I don't, I'll lose it. And whatever I'm placing in front of it, I'll lose that also. So I hope this inspires you guys. If you're struggling out there and you're thinking like, I can't do this, it's not worth it, like you can do it, and it is worth it. And you have to give yourself a chance, because no one else is going to come and save you. So love you guys.